Happening, HC Nation and American Revolution class. I don't like that opening. Maybe we try it again. What's happening, HC Nation? This is the American Revolution class. Oh yeah, I know. American Revolution. We have to learn this. Yes, yes, you do. Why wouldn't you? Have you ever understood, or have you ever seen what happened in the American Revolution? It is the greatest story that's ever lived. And the reason why I can say that is because this revolution spurred hundreds of revolutions all around the world, because some ordinary people stood up against a government, a tyrannical government from another country. So what could be more interesting than that? Now, this is not just about violence and guns and things like that in a war. This is about espionage and spies and slavery and adventure. This is all these things. Now, if you need a little pick-me-up to really want to understand this course, you come down here. Come to this video right here. Now, each of you at different levels, if you're in elementary school, middle school, or high school, you're going to have different videos down here. But this video, I think you need to see. Now, it starts off a little slow. You're going to be questioning, oh, do I have to really watch this? Hold on. I think you're going to like it. It's a little catchy as you get into it. Yes, there is a song, but you're going to like it. So give me 1 second. Let's just get this going.
John, the American Revolution is a huge part of our manifesto for this year. It's important that the children demonstrate a deep understanding of it.
They should start into it. Principal Fernandez, I want to help them, but what do I do?
You have to inspire them. You have to make it come to life for them. But how? Use your passion. You can do it. Go ahead.
Now remember all of their faces. You're going to want to remember this for later on in the video.
So today we're going to continue our study about the American Revolution.
Is that how you feel? Yeah, most people do.
Why do you have to learn this stuff?
Why do you have to learn about your own country's history?
Yeah, that was then and this is now. What does any of this have to do with us?
You really don't see the connection, do you? Well, picture this.
And I'm going to stop it there. So you're going to want to watch that. It's a really funny video, and it's really cool. So coming back to the most important part of this whole course is this. This is your own guide. Now, your parents are going to want to be part of this. They want to learn with you. And if you want, and if they want, then you can work with them to learn this, to read this textbook with you. But this is supposed to be student-driven, so this is for you. And if you have any questions about it, ask your parents to put it in the support group and ask questions about certain things in here. But let's open this up. The American Revolution. What was it? Was it just a war? Was it an uprising? Was it? Did it talk about the economy and other things? Was there love interests? Were there spies and other things? Yes, all the above. It has everything to do with these things. So you can actually go through, and this is actually a poem that was written about the American Revolution. And here's some more information. But here, over here, are different videos that you can watch. Now, as I showed you down here, yes, there's a video down here. There's also videos down here. Now, one thing you're going to want to see is this button right here. Very important. Boom. Full screen. That's right. Now you get it all in full screen. Now, you come over to the interactive area. That's this whole area right here. You have different videos that you can watch. So some of these videos are the American Revolution song, which is actually the one that I just started to show you. You have other ones. Now, these actually pop up in here, so you don't have to go out to YouTube and see all those extra things, mostly things that are just going to distract you. These are all embedded into the actual course. You come down here. Oops. No. Okay. Come down here. There's different books that you can get from the library, or you can ask your parents if you can order them on Amazon. Down here, you have different websites that you can go to. all you do is click on one of these, and it's going to bring you to the History Channel's little summary of this part of the history. So the American Revolution is basically an overview. And the History Channel loves giving you overviews. They don't focus on the smaller stories and give you a lineup of how to read through it. So again, this is a great source to read through, to look through, but come back to our course because we have a set way of putting this all together to help you remember once you get older and once you're going to a test and such. You're going to know more about the American Revolution than any professor out there if you go through this whole course. Yeah, that's a guarantee, because we're not just going to talk to you about the American Revolution, British versus the colonists. We're also going to talk to you about the French influence, the Indian and minority, the black influence, the Spanish influence during that time, and not just in the United States, but all around the world, what was happening. So again, these are great resources, but they're not as good as our course. And that's a lot to say because that's the History Channel and they've got billions of dollars behind them, but they don't have the passion and the understanding of what we found out from other homeschooling and charter school students. So come here to this page, you get all this information, you go to the next page. Most of the time, you're reading one of these a day, so it's not that much information. You come down to you see some of these videos, and you can watch about the Albany Congress. Join or die. That's right. That's what this piece was about. You're going to learn a little bit more about it. Again, there's videos down here. Now, here's something that I did it again. Down here, these blue buttons right here, best part, the best part of all. This is if you click on this. Now, depending on if you're a high school student or a middle school student or elementary school student, you're going to get different activities depending on your age. You're going to get different videos depending on your age and different books that you can get, websites you can get. These are all depending on your age. So if you think you're a little bit more mature, talk to your parents. Maybe you need the middle school level instead of the elementary school level, or high school level instead of the middle school level. The great thing is that you can take this course when you're in through elementary school, you learn the whole course, then you go to the middle school, you learn the whole course, and then the high school. And I don't think you'll ever forget the information that you find in this. But I digress. Let's go back to the activity. So this, again, is about Benjamin Franklin. So, of course, you're going to learn about science because Benjamin Franklin was a lot about science. Now, he wasn't only about science. He was a diplomat. He was an inventor, all these different things. But this one, we're going to talk to you about static electricity. As an elementary school student, you're going to go through a lot of different videos on how to create static electricity. Is it science or math? So all these resources are here for you. In this video, in this activity, there's actually two videos. These are the same one. And then this is where a student, another person your age, goes through and puts an experiment together about static electricity. Basically like the same activity from this first one, but in real life. So you can actually see somebody else going through it. Now, that's the brief interview or overview of what this course is. In the following weeks, we won't have to do this overview because we want to talk to you about the American Revolution. So let's go back to the very beginning. I'm going to flip through a bunch of these. As you can tell, these are all images from the game that you have purchased with this course, if you purchase the game as well, because they work hand in hand. By playing the game and using this curriculum, you're going to retain about 70 to 80%. What does that mean? It means you're going to remember these things for a lot longer period of time. Then when you come to an adult and they're talking about the American Revolution and think they know what they're talking about, most of you are going to end up correcting some of the misunderstandings that were part of this. So now let's go into the information itself. The American Revolution, why did it begin? It began because the British, which were usually called redcoats, as you can see they have redcoats, and the colonists disagreed on how the Americas should be run. They had different ideas. So this is a little introduction to it. But here is the spark of democracy. So there actually was a Congress. It was called the Albany Congress. that got together that spoke of the different things that the Americas needed in order to run and function as they saw fit. Now, one of the things that it would not allow for is a dictator from across the pond, or across the Atlantic Ocean, big pond, to come over and dictate what was going on in the Americas. So this is where they decided to get the revival, the revolution started. Didn't actually start here, but this is where it started to gain momentum. And here are some books that you can go to, websites you can go to get more information. You're going to want to learn about this because this is the flame that started it all. This is the little spark, as it says, the spark of democracy that started it all. And famous attendees to this Congress, Benjamin Franklin was there. So, while we're talking about Benjamin Franklin, let's go see a little bit more about him. You can read all about him right here. Again, if you're in the elementary school level, you're going to read this. Middle school, it's going to be a little bit more in depth, a lot more information. High school, a whole lot more information. But again, a businessman, scientist, and politician sounds like the start of a joke, but all of these titles belong to one man. Benjamin Franklin was a diplomat, writer, inventor, and one of America's founding fathers, widely known for his infamous flying kite experiment and his face on a $100 bill. Benjamin Franklin was a man of many talents. Now, you can read more about him on this page. Again, you can watch the videos about him. Here are some books that you can go out and read. Now, as you go through this, your parents actually have it in their guides under the schedules and introduction. There's a scorecard. You can actually keep score of your grades this whole time. So just by watching the videos, you get extra points. By reading a book, you're going to get extra points. Doing activities, going to websites, these are all extra points. The reason why you're getting extra points is some people don't like watching videos and don't retain the information that are here. So whatever way that you're going to retain the information, you might be a great reader and want to read some of these books. That's how you can gain your points. Because we give you, if you basically do what you're supposed to do, you're going to get basically to a C level. Really? A C level? Yeah. If we ask you to do something and you do just that, that's a C level. That's an average student. If you go in and watch some extra videos, read some extra books, visit some of the websites and actually read some of the things that are there, and do the activities, your parents will sign off on it, but you're going to have an A or A plus in this course. So you have to go a little bit above and beyond to get that full grade. Now, when this all happens, the Albany Congress, the king gets word of this and puts together a proclamation. So this one starts off, after winning the French and Indian War, 7-Year War, American colonists had a bold desire to expand their territories westward. However, that land already belonged to someone, the Native Americans. This was a agreement between the British government, the king, and the Native Americans that they could have their land. So the proclamation went out that no other settlements could go into that land, and the people that were in those lands had to leave those lands, losing all their property, and get out of there. Now, if you come over here, you can see that these are all the colonies. These are owned by the British government, basically, and the king. This is Native American land, and actually this down here was Native American, but also Spanish land. So a lot of the colonists wanted to move west, but the king promised the Native Americans that they would not be able to move west, and forced the colonists to come back. And that's when soldiers started coming over there enforcing that proclamation. So you actually learn about the Pontiac Wars and such. But here, you can learn more about the Proclamation of 1763 announcement. Now this is a little bit funny. Watch this. Please stand for the announcement from the king.
To my loyal subjects in my glorious colonies, we have just defeated the French and their Indian allies, and now have control over their lands. We have banded together during this war, and shown others how strong we are.
We're going to let you watch the rest of the video. Again, there's other videos like here, like fast facts about it, books that you can read. especially George versus George. Awesome book for the elementary school level, and talks about King George and George Washington, and they didn't like each other. Now the activity here is folklore. You gotta check that out. It's pretty fun, and also other websites you can go to. Now, as we go, King George was the one that basically released the proclamation. It was his proclamation. So you can learn about him. King George has been called a tyrant, a madman, and a dictator. But away from politics, George was a gentleman who loved his wife, Charlotte, and their 15 children. Now, to a lot of people, that's a lot of kids. But to each their own. I'm not going to go into that because I have a good-sized family. But anyways, you can read a little bit more about King George. Again, there's websites here, books that you can read. This is funny. If you've ever seen the movie, the play Hamilton, this is one of the scenes from there.
You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You'll cry in your tears.
Again, I'll let you watch all these videos on your own. I don't want to take up too much of your time doing this. Another thing that's important is these images right here are all historical images. So you can click on here and actually see the source where they come from. And again, read some of these books. You're going to love them. I won't go too far into this because I want you to be able to get that done. And next week we'll come to more of these. Now, each day, depending on the schedule, and your parents can set up the schedule with you, you can actually have one of these each day and not be overwhelmed by getting too much. And they're really easy. It's like maybe a half hour max to read all this information, watch the videos. If you pick up a book, of course, it's going to be a little bit more than that. See some of the websites, maybe a little bit more, maybe still in their 30 minutes. And the activity, depending on the activity. But this is going to teach you everything you need to know. And in the first week, we just went through, look at this, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There you go. It was that easy. So next week, we'll actually talk about the Sugar Act, the Stamp Act, and so much more. So there's a lot more to it. We'll stay tuned until that point. So thanks for joining me on this first week of the American Revolution course. If you have questions, please ask your parents. They'll either email us or go to the support group to ask there, because we want to help you out. And anything that doesn't make sense, we're going to be there for you. So just know that we are there whenever you need us. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch you next week. Take care. Bye.